Hi, good evening, everyone. And yes, after a nice time, I'm doing an Insta live. Now I'll be very regular in doing Instagram lives. So soon, our author will be here, and today we are having a session under the series A Tryst with the Author, a book talk basically, where not only we talk about the author's book, but we talk about so many other things about writing, publishing, and the journey of the author. And oh yes, Namrata is here. Let me take her on screen. One moment. Sending you invite, dear Namrata. So yeah, Namrata is here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Namrata. I'm good. So you can hear me, see me clearly, right?
I cannot see you clearly, you're pixelated.
Okay. I mean, same with your video as well. So is it fine now? Because my Wi-Fi is working very properly.
No, you're still pixelated.
Mm, let me invite you once again then. Just give me one moment.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. How do I do that? One more.
Yeah, it's better now.
One second. Yeah, it's better? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's better. What about me? Can
But
you
you can
see me?
hear
Can
me,
you hear
right?
me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Huh, I can hear you very clearly. That's video is at times good, at times pixelated, as you said, but then it's fine. So, okay, shall we start then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, good evening, Jai Hind. This is Dr. Kaveri, and you're watching me on pretty much everything for the series, rather for a session under the series A Tryst with the Author. And today we have very young and talented Namrata Gupta, and we are going to talk not only about a, good book, together we were whole. As you can see, it's wonderfully, I mean, very smartly titled actually, and when I read the story, then I understood why she has titled it. And in this way, particularly where, you put a W in between the bracket and then you write the rest of the word, which has two similar meanings and same pronunciation, but that is a very smart choice of a word there. And so congratulations, Namrata, on your recent write-up and for this book, of course.
Thank you, Kaveri.
Okay, so how does it feel? This is your fourth, right?
Yeah, so it feels like I have to write like 10 more books right now. So I still have miles to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, of course, of course. And I'm sure you will go a long, long way because I really like your writing style as far as the book is concerned. Because this is now you as an author, this is my first read ever. So, I mean, of course, when I was going through these Amazon things and all, because I keep searching about books and I came across this. And also, basically, I was looking for a silent promise. So I hope
Okay, okay.
to get that as well. Yeah, this is that came in 2015, I guess.
Yeah, that's my first book. I wrote it when I was doing my graduation from Hansraj. So I wrote it like back in
Ah,
2013 or 14.
okay, lovely, lovely. And what's the speciality of this book? The hand signed copy.
Did you like
So
the
you know
note that I
what?
wrote?
Yeah, yeah, of
Did you
course.
like?
And the Of course, of course. See, that's why, when I was talking to you, I was texting you, I told you how much this author's note means to me. When it's like, Dear Kaveri, signatures are always there. But when the note is personalized, it has a separate charm, it has a separate value, I guess.
Yes.
So lovely. You see that bookshelf behind me, it has all the 95% of them are author signed copy.
Nice. You have a pretty good collection. Even I would want that
Yes.
collection for myself someday.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will be there. But the only thing is, the day I became an avid reader, and this kida came into me of getting a hand signed copy. So my first question to the author is, can I have a hand signed copy? I will do anything for that. I mean, I'll go an extra mile, purchase the book, courier it to them, and they do send it to me back. Sometimes they order the book for me directly from the Amazon, and then I read it, of course, and after the session, I courier it to them wherever they are, and they sign it, send back.
That's a very nice exercise.
So
It makes the author also feel
yeah, it's
special.
like a special, and I'm so glad they happily do it. So, Namrata, quickly talking about your book now. What I liked is, I told you I have this spectacles number wala chashma. So I really like the font and the spacing of the lines here. It makes the reading very easy, very comfortable rather. And also the background of the paper, I mean the quality which generally is it's there in the book, and the font over it. So sometimes the
Yeah.
choice may not have the correct balance, and the print goes a bit dull, but here I could see both of them being balanced very perfectly, making it very eye friendly. And I would really like to know which font is this, by the way,
So I don't know that,
if you
the
remember.
font, the publisher might be doing that.
Yeah, yeah. I hope he is watching. The publishers are
He'll be
watching.
very
So,
happy to know this.
yeah, of course. I mean, see, these are the few little things that for me as a reader that matters a lot. Sometimes the story is good, but when you're straining your eyes, you're like, oh, okay, कब खत्म होगी
Yeah.
वो feeling आ जाती है. So इसके लिए. So okay, and let me quickly introduce very briefly Namrata to all the people who are watching right now. She did a graduation in English literature from Hansraj College, Delhi University, and she has a master's degree
I
in
have a
management. Oh wow! So you are MBA in HR or marketing?
marketing
Like
and
which field?
finance. Marketing is
My
majors, finance
goodness.
is
Okay.
minors.
ओके ओके लवली लवली सो यूजुअली ऐसा देखा जाता है नम्रता जो आईटी पीपल हैं इफ यू सी सम ऑफ द राइटर्स प्रोमिनेंट वंस दे आर इनटू राइटिंग नो यू बी एंड आल्सो सम ऑफ देम हैव डन देयर मैनेजमेंट सो ऐसा क्या हो जाता है मैनेजमेंट एंड कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ में दैट दे बिकम राइटर्स
So I wrote my first book when I was doing my graduation in English literature, but before that, so I started
या
writing when I was 10. So my poems were published
ओके
in national newspapers when I was 10. So I used to write both in English and Hindi, and my Hindi poems were published in the newspapers. So ऐसा कुछ नहीं
ओके
है that when I did my MBA or when I did my graduation, तभी the कीड़ा suddenly came out. So it was there
या
since the start itself.
व्हाट आई मेंट वाज दैट टू ऑन अ लाइटर नोट कि ये मैनेजमेंट करना या आईटी सेक्टर में जाना इतना ज्यादा भर देता है कि ओके आप कहाँ पे वेंट आउट करें, एंड दैट कम्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ बुक.
Yeah, I think that's true also because life is not always logical. So there's the head and the heart, and you need to feed both of them, and you also need to feed your soul. So logical wala to it gets pretty much fed when you are doing MBA or something like an engineering. And when you're thinking of the creative side, I think the
Okay,
writing
so
goes a long way
can you,
because it also feeds your soul.
yeah, and you clearly mentioned that that's a very good line you just said, that no, you have a head in your heart. So that's lovely. Use that line in your next next write up rather. So okay, so not giving any kind of spoiler alerts here or whatever. The quickly, I really like the plot which is there. With the two lovers, and somehow they are not able to unite together. And the female protagonist is Sanaya Sharma, and she kind of decides to take revenge on her ex-lover when she goes through a lot of ups and downs and post the breakup, and the male protagonist being Siddharth Sachdev. And I mean, any specific reason for keeping both the initials of the protagonist same, SSSS?
Yeah, because I showcase them as being two soulmates in the book. So that's why there's the pun on the title, Whole and Whole. It's like I have a hole in my
Hmm.
heart without you, And with you, I feel whole, WHOLE, whole. Two soulmates who are like, uh, so they're connected on different levels, so much so that their initials are also connected.
Hmm.
That was,
So, I mean, that's also a sign of, like, we can say coincidence that they connected in every which way.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
also the name
You
of one
know,
chapter in the book, the story of initials.
hmm.
So they, how
Yeah, yeah, the
they,
story of India. So, okay, now, I have just highlighted some of the very witty dialogues that you have used here. The lady shred her royal skin to be a sinner with you tonight. I said winking. So, these, and इसके अलावा भी काफी ज़्यादा lines है, which, I'm applying the touch up on the Excel spreadsheet, not on my face. I said trying to be witty amidst the hurry. So even, I could imagine, I mean, मैं तो story में पूरा घुस जाती हूँ. I sometimes believe that I am the female protagonist, and I imagine the scene where I'm being very witty with the male lead, and I'm saying these lines. So the smirk, or probably the winking, or the expressions. So I was enjoying me being there in that position, and I also believe that some of the humor, I would say a touch of the humor in the story is very, very important. Whereas as far as the dialogue deliveries are exchanged between the friends, or it can be between lovers, married couple. So what, according, I mean, I want your opinion on the same. How much a humor tinge is necessary as far as all the stories are concerned?
so I think humor is very necessary to connect with the audience firstly, and also to
Hmm.
keep them interested in the book. So if I'm just reading a plain text with no humor, no wittiness in it, then I might get bored
Hmm.
of it after some time if the story is not so engrossing. So especially when it
Right.
comes to small dialogues, the everyday dialogues, like the two
Right.
protagonists, the male and the female ones, are talking to each other, that's like an everyday conversation, when especially when you are showing
Hmm.
the two characters as they are just hitting off and they're just starting connected. So in
Right.
that way there's a need of humor, because the conversations are like everyday conversation that we have with our friends or with our family. So if you just
Hmm.
add a touch of wittiness or humor to that conversation, the conversation itself becomes interesting. And as a reader, I would want to read that conversation. I would want to go through that conversation and not just wait for
Yeah.
what happens next in the story itself. So I would
Yeah.
like really get engrossed in the minute and little details of the story and not just the entire plot per se.
Okay, okay, lovely. And I see one side humor, and of course, the story begins with how they slowly develop love for each other, Sanaya and Siddharth. And I really like the flow. It was beautiful. They go to places, they become friends first, and then they connect with each other on a different level. And I think that comes after a lot of episodes of their meetings, and a lot of cafeteria talks, I would say. So on the other hand, I see some beautiful lines again. I was fed by his presence in my life, that I realized that I had been starving for years without him. ये line तो it took me over. It is very nice. So in fact, I believe that for making your writing effective, I just say that we need not to use Shashi Tharoor English, and it can be as simple as this one, the Indian English, with which people can connect, reader can connect. Because मैंने गूगल ही नहीं किया कि अच्छा इसका मीनिंग क्या होगा, उसका मीनिंग, सो मैं फ्लो में पढ़ती चली गई, एंड विद इन सम आवर्स, लाइक if I combine 2 days, I could finish it off. So for you, when when you're reading something as a reader, does it turn you off in any which way when some high end words are used very frequently throughout the story?
Yes, it does. Actually, so that's why I use simple English in my books to make the books relatable
Hmm.
to everybody. So my goal is
Hmm.
that I should reach every Indian through my book. And if I have to
Hmm.
reach every Indian, I have to make the language lucid. I have to make it simple so that people understand what
Hmm.
I'm talking about. So if I just have to
Right.
use a dictionary after every word or after two lines, I might as well
Yeah.
take 4 hours to like complete 4 pages, because I have to like Google
Right.
stuff, I have to put my dictionary, and then it also breaks the flow of my reading. So
Right.
personally, I would
Okay.
not like, and I would not be fully engrossed in a book in which I have to like constantly check my dictionary, and that would break my
Mm-hmm.
flow.
Hmm. Okay. So, of course, I agree, and very well put. If that constantly break the flow, because okay, you want to be away from the mobile gadgets
Yeah,
when you are kind of reading, and but then because
yeah.
of such words which you are not getting through, you have to just again bring back your mobile.
Yeah,
So
and
I
imagine if I am
completely agree.
looking
Yeah,
at the meaning of a word and just going through my mobile, and there's a
yeah.
notification, a WhatsApp notification, and I would start chatting with that person and I would just put the book aside. So you have to like
That's true.
really get engrossed in the world of the book, the world that the
Yeah.
author wants you to be in. So, like you said, that whenever you are
Hmm.
reading a book, you become the protagonist. So, I want all my readers to become the protagonist when they are reading the book, and that can only happen if the language is relatable and easy to understand.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, okay, wonderful. Now, coming on to the title. So, of course, you have given me that, that idea that वो आपकी जो book का title है वो किससे था. But still, I would like to know your perception, your more onto your view that how did you come up with this closed title?
So, firstly, when I was in the process of thinking about the title, I thought
Hmm.
that I would go for almost whole. That
Hmm.
I am almost whole because I'm not with you, and when I'm with you, I'll become fully whole. That was what I wanted to
Hmm.
convey through my title initially. But then I realized that a much better way to put it would be that together we were whole. Like together, when we come
Hmm.
together, we become whole. And when we are not
Yeah.
together, we become the whole minus the W, that is the void. That we have a void in there
Void. Yeah.
somewhere. So
Lovely.
almost whole,
Lovely.
maybe I wanted to put in that pun, WHOLE
Hmm.
and HOLE wala, and that's why I put the word separately in a bracket so that it's very noticeable to anybody who sees the title in the first instance itself. तो वो तो पन तो
Yes.
हमेशा रहना ही था, no matter what would have preceded that word. Similar, because the
Hmm.
concept of soulmates is like that, right? So if you think that somebody is your soulmate, you are like you have this void in your heart without them, and you cannot imagine yourself to be complete without them. So not being
Right.
complete is kind of having a hole in your heart. And as the story is about two soulmates, so ये वाला concept, तो it was definitely in.
Okay, wonderful. And I think, probably the cover and the title and the content inside, the story inside, they should always be in sync. It is very, very important because recently, I came across few books which after reading the gist, I was like, oh, acha, sounds interesting. And it was little different what I read inside. So it is very also important for the blur to be also in sync with all the rest of the things that defines a book, the cover, the color, probably the color combination, the title, and of course the blur. So I think that's a very well. When I read the title, I had an idea, okay, what I'm going to read inside. But in the sense, like a bit of plot, okay, the breakup thing is going to happen. But again, I don't go deep into the plot because I sometimes flow में वो spoil alert हो जाता है. But I'm very glad that in all my sessions I've been able to not to reveal anything except for the basic stuff of the book and the story. Guys, do read it if you're looking for a light-hearted love story. This is Together We Help. Do read this, and I'm glad that I came across this one, and you decided to send me this, and I came across this one. So, tell me, Ki, when you had your first book, so how much idea did you have regarding your publishing industry and the know and the how about it?
I had zero idea about the publishing industry. I became a writer
Uh-huh.
only because I loved writing, and there was nothing fixed in my mind that. So I took
Yeah.
science when I was doing my schooling. So in 11th and 12th, I was a
Hmm.
science non-med student, and I had no idea that I would
Hmm.
become a writer someday. Everything
Hmm.
that pushed me to become a writer was my only love for literature. The only love for
Hmm.
that I had for writing. That was the only thing that pushed me to become a writer, and I had
Okay.
zero practical experience of the publishing industry. I did not know the industry at all. So what I did was I wrote down the book and then I sent the manuscript to like 10
Okay.
publishers, but I really wanted Srishti Publishers to pick that up because in those days, Srishti Publishers was like a renowned publisher and especially
Yeah.
promoting young
So,
writers.
Yumka, just give me a moment. I'll just connect my Bluetooth again. I think I
Yeah,
lost
yeah,
the connectivity here. Just a moment. So, yeah, am I audible now?
yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, am I clear now? Like my voice and all?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. Well, some call came and the this thing
Yeah.
connectivity got this thing. Okay, okay. So sorry if you could just repeat last few lines of what you had just said. I'm so sorry about it.
Yeah, so I did not have any idea about the publishing industry or the
Yeah,
professional aspect of writing as such, or how, what would I do after becoming an author, or
yeah.
how do authors become authors, and how do authors live? I had zero idea about the industry and the author
Yeah.
lifestyle. So I just wrote my first book and I sent it to like 10 publishers, out of which some gave me replies and some did not give me replies, and Srishti Publishers
Okay.
luckily give me a reply. And then I
Okay.
just went
Okay.
ahead
Yeah.
with it. I did not have any experience in the cover designing or the formatting part of it also. Srishti Publishers
Yeah.
helped me a lot in that aspect. So for
Hmm.
me, even till like the last 2 years, I did not like delve deep into the industry as such. I kept writing what my heart told me to write, and I kept sending it to publishers without caring
Hmm.
about the professional aspect of it.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. That's lovely. And slowly, slowly, as your second book came up, third book came up, and by the time actually your second book had come, you must have had a lot of idea about it. That how
Yeah, so by the time my
this
second
industry.
book,
Yeah.
yeah, so my second book came out in 2018. So there was a 3 year gap because I was doing my MBA. So there was a 3 year gap between the two books. So by then I had also the idea of the industry and also the exposure. So in 2015,
Okay.
after my book was released, I was invited for a book reading session at Gurgaon International Film and Literature Festival, which was a good festival,
Wow.
and it was held in
Hmm.
DLF Cyber Hub. And Mr. Sudhir Mishra released my book there. So it was my first
Okay.
on-stage experience, holding my own book in my hands and just going out to the public and telling them about my book. So
Hmm.
experiences, I started having them after my first book, but that was not the idea behind writing any books. So I write
Okay. Okay.
whenever I want to write.
Hmm, that's lovely. And so I think I can conclude rather from what you have said, ki you are okay with having gaps in between two books because many writers I come across they it is generally they it is suggested by them once you start finished your first manuscript start writing on the second one or whatever it is there has to be a flow of release and so on. So you're okay by having that 1 year of gap between releasing between the two books, like you are okay with that, and you think
Yeah.
that that's a good idea to have that gap?
I personally feel that creativity cannot be forced. So, like, I do not have a
Hmm.
yearly goal in mind that I have to write one book this year and the second book second year, and by the time I turn 50, I'll have 50, like 30 books. So, like, I will have
Hmm.
30 books by then. I do not have yearly goals. So, if you see my
Yeah.
trajectory, I wrote my first book came out in 2015, my second book came out in
Yeah.
2018, third book came out in 2020, fourth book came out in 2021, and 2022 I might release a book this year. I have already written it. So, but and I have written also two short stories. So, in one sense, these are like seven things in 7 years, 2015 to 22, 7 years, and then
Hmm.
if I release a book this year, then five books and two short stories, seven, seven. It matches the count. But that's not how
Yeah.
I go. So it's not a yearly goal for me. So I write whenever a story hits me and whenever I want to write because creativity. So if I have a specific notion in my mind that I have to definitely release a book this year, then it would be more head than my heart. It would be more stress
Yeah.
than my creativity.
Hmm. Okay, and you also would have made a such a significant and valid point is somewhere down the line, the creativity cannot be forced. And also when we have this target, now मुझे तो इतनी books लिखनी ही है इस साल में, that also somehow affects the quality of the writing as well because you have a target, you are under your own pressure, you set your own targets, and then you have to match it to that target, and somewhere down the line the quality is definitely compromised on based on the target which you want to achieve. So because I have seen authors, they have, and also I believe that if you have a target of reading number of books, so that also doesn't give you that mental peace for me as a reader also कि अच्छा मुझे तो 14 बुक पढ़नी है 50 बुक पढ़नी है. So I also for even having these sessions on my platform, I take my own time. I request the author to send me the book at 10 days prior or to the session or well before uh, so that I can read it properly and give my own time and do justice to the reading and to the book as well. So I think that would also make sense because your book reached me well before time. I could finish it in 2 days and then I'm able to talk about it so much. So I think that makes sense. So, okay, so Namrata, is there any genre particular which you find very, of course, writing itself is very challenging, but any particular genre which you think that, it's very challenging to write and, but surely one day you will try it.
I think that would be science fiction. I find it very
Oh.
challenging to write because there you have to be like pinpoint logical and also maintain the trajectory and the growth of the characters and put the
Hmm.
story from a very different point of view. So like everybody needs to find the book logical firstly, and then everybody needs to relate
Okay.
to what you're writing. And there's a certain level of
Hmm.
imagination when you're writing a sci-fi book. So for me,
Yeah.
that's a very tough genre because I have to include everything in like 300 pages.
Yeah.
But yes, someday definitely I want to try it maybe
Hmm.
after 10 years or 15 years.
Yeah. Sure. Amen. You will be. I think so. And you think that, in the market, if almost in India, 90 to 1 lakh, 90,000 to a lakh books are published every year. It's there out in the market statistically. I read it recently. So, you think that writing a love story or a romance genre, let it be romance thriller or a romantic story, love story, does that gives a very tough competition to have a niche in the market as far as a romance genre is concerned.
So definitely there are a lot of romance writers in the industry and there's tough competition. And in fact, there's
Hmm.
competition in every field. So whatever you do, there's competition. So I think
Hmm.
that there is a high level of competition in romance definitely because there are a lot of writers
Hmm.
writing it, but there's also the number of audience. So the number of people that actually read romance novels have also grown over the years. So when Chetan Bhagat entered the romance industry, a lot of Indians became readers
Hmm.
because the language was so relatable. And then they thought, yes, we can read books. So the romance
Hmm.
genre
Hmm.
developed from there. And today in
Yeah.
India, there are a lot of young people who are going to school or colleges. So people start reading from the age of 14 or 12 these days.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
those guys are mostly in that age interested in romance books. So yes, there's a growing number of writers, but also the readership is increasing, especially in this genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. So, do you think, I mean, of course, Kindle and paperback, there are two different things, but you think that during the lockdown, like all in the past 2.5 years, especially when there was, things were at peak, people were at home completely. Now it's open everywhere, but still. So, do you think that, the Kindle has kind of gone over paperback?
Yes, definitely, because especially after the pandemic, it
Hmm.
has. But
Yeah.
for me, paperback is personally, I like reading paperbacks because there's the feel to it, right? So when you're touching the book and
Yeah.
you're feeling the book, that's a different kind of feeling altogether. So I personally prefer
Painful.
paperbacks. But Kindle has definitely grown, especially in the time of pandemic, when all you
Yeah.
do is stay at home and maybe read a
Hmm.
book to pass your time. And when the book is also not accessible to you, when the delivery is not like you're not getting the book everywhere in every state, every city. So Kindle has definitely grown, and also the Kindle books are cheaper than the paperback ones. So I would rather go
Yeah.
for a Kindle for 49 bucks than a paperback for 200 rupees.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, lovely. That's true also. And I mean, I feel that I have not read a single book on Kindle. I think I have to start that. And also, I want to experience that audiobook thing. I mean, I was just wondering how it would be like, listening to those audiobooks. So I think I will try that soon. I've got some code. One of our very close friend gave that to me. So I want to really try that. एंड किंडल में पढ़ना होगा पता नहीं शायद मैं अपनी कोई ई बुक पढ़ लूँ अगर रिलीज हुई तो I'm not sure about it. So, okay, Namrata, tell me, कि since you belong to Gen X, and these days, if there is a young writer who there are two things, which that constantly goes into a young writer's mind of this generation next is what they say. So, एक तरफ होता है self satisfaction of you having your book published or you writing it and having your words into a book printed, and then there is something called as the commercial success. Now, of course, when you started writing 2015, very young, very naive. So, did you had your clear thought that what do you want first, commercial success or inner satisfaction? So, and if you had the clear thought, how did you strike a balance?
So even now, personal satisfaction is the only thing that I look forward to whenever I release a
Hmm.
book. Commercial satisfaction is not what I'm looking for, and
Hmm.
I'll always, I think, write books because of personal satisfaction. And I think that
Okay.
whenever you start writing, whenever you have that idea in your head that I want to be an author someday,
Yeah.
what drives you should only be your personal satisfaction. Because whenever
Okay.
you encounter lows, and then if you are driven by the commercial factor of it, then what would you do? Would you
Hmm.
stop writing? Would you just stop being an author? And would you just stop talking about your books? No, it has to come from within. It has to come from
Yeah.
a place in your soul which tells you that this is the thing that I live for, I wake up for every day, and this is the thing that I
Hmm.
want to do for the next 40 or 50 years.
Right.
So everything that you do with passion, whenever you're following your passion, the idea should come from your heart, from your soul, and it should the thing driving it should be your personal satisfaction. So I always do this, like I always follow this rule of thumb in my professional life also, that
Hmm.
whatever I am putting efforts into or whatever I am investing my time into should give me personal
Hmm.
satisfaction and not just commercial satisfaction, and especially at a young age. If you start learning things from a young age, it would definitely
Yeah.
give you commercial satisfaction in the long run. So
Hmm.
if I do something, if I learn something by heart when I'm 25 and I do it all
Hmm.
with all my heart and I keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. So by the time I'm 35, it would give me much higher
Hmm.
returns than something that I would do just for the monetary aspect of it at the age of 25.
Yeah, that's very, very well said, Namrata. That has also given a very strong message to all the upcoming writers. So quickly, I'll say hi to my friends. Hi, Love. Hi, Ranjana. Hi, Asha. Hi, Chaitra, and hi, Kavita. So they all are very, I haven't met them. Ranjana is, of course, very dear friend from Ahmedabad itself, very, very close friend, and they all are super cool writers. I have read them. Their books have come, and they give a very lovely write-ups actually. So I wish that they print more and more books, because here, as you can see in my shelf, maximum of it is a debut writer's book. It's a debut book, and I'm like, oh my God, why they aren't coming with anything else now? And because पहली बार भी जो book लिखी है ऐसा लगा ही नहीं कि first time लिखा हुआ है उन्होंने. So I wish that we have more and more writers, and all of them they come for the launch on my platform. I'll be very, very glad. So
It's
in
definitely
fact,
fun talking to you.
Yeah, and it's like kind of I also invite you if you are coming this, coming up with another book. So I mean, you're most welcome on my platform anytime, any day. So I'll be happy. I don't have any such norms of this typical. I'll just tell a brief story. This was one very, very famous author, and I wrote to her, talking about telling about my platform. It was very initial phase. He said, and she thought that, I'm just that regular reviewer who will take some rupees and I'll get more followers or more reviews on Amazon. I said, no, it is not like that. So for me also to establish myself, it took a while that, the quality that is there on the platform is very different. It's something that I'm going to, completely nurture it as my baby only. So, and of course, I mean, on the similar line, I have a question for you. Every time you hold your book, जो आपने लिखी है, भले वो आपकी दूसरी हो, तीसरी हो, चौथी हो. So, do you have the same feeling as that of the first?
Yes. Because so in every book, there's a story that's very, very, very close to my heart. So it's not the
Mm-hmm.
book, it's the story, it's the dream that I'm holding in my hand. And how can I just forget one dream and look for another dream? So, like, all my dreams would be equal to me. So, all my babies are my babies, right? So, even if I have a second baby or a third baby, I would be as excited as I would be when I would have my first baby, right?
Yes,
So it's the same feeling that way.
yes. Yeah, yeah. Basically, mother of all books. All right. It's just that. जिसको सब अपने बच्चे प्यारे होते हैं ना, it's like that. So, okay. So, Kavita is saying, lucky to have such a lovely platform. What an amazing boost to debut authors. Kavita, ये आप कह रही हैं. By the way, she herself is an author of six book. Her sixth book will be launched on my platform on 14th Feb. So, I mean, and also Love is saying sorry for being late. Sorry, worry, क्यों बोलते हो? He's one such friend who will put alarm for my sessions, and some few more also. So I mean, very supportive they are. Even, I mean, I wish I meet all of them soon. ये कोविड चला जाए ना, फिर मिलूंगी इनसे एक एक करके. So, okay. So, Namrata, before we wind up, I have just couple of more questions for you. Um, you are at that age when, of course, Cupid can strike you at any point of time. Okay. So, somewhere down the line, when you write about the male protagonist, do you sketch the character the way? I mean, do you sketch the character that you want in your guy?
That's a very tricky question.
I mean, you answered it only if you are comfortable, otherwise I'm fine. It's okay, no problem. But then this is very interesting.
Some aspects of it, yes. So I am a kind of person who would personally also look for certain traits in somebody. So if I'm falling in love with somebody, I would look for certain traits that are there in that person. But not all traits would be the traits that I would be looking for, right? So I look for the ones that I
Yes.
want to look for in that person and go ahead with it. So that's the way it's like that in my characters also. So there are certain traits like I really like somebody who's very witty. So you would see that in my
Hmm.
characters. Like so I
Yeah.
have those witty characters in my books. And I would like somebody
Uh,
who has contrasting qualities, like somebody who's fun and also serious, somebody who's knows when to have fun and when to be serious, who's responsible but also childish at times. So I would like those contradictory traits in somebody, and that's how my characters are formed, and that's how we human beings are. So we are complex creatures.
yeah.
There are contrasting
Yeah,
traits
yeah.
within us. So not the entire individual, but yes, some traits that I look for in a person are definitely there in my characters.
Okay, so guys, if you are listening, if you are single, and देख लेना आप लोग सब note down कर लेना. On a lighter, so Kavita says कि yeah, it's a tricky question, and she also says, but I'm sure you do, हाँ Kavita. And अरे Kavita herself, she is the one who says मैं romantic story के अलावा she cannot think of any other emotion to write. And I mean, I will surely, I will I mean, just I will recommend her books to you, Namrata. Just pick up any book and then आप एक बार उसकी book जरूर पढ़िए. And
Definitely.
especially the one which is going to come on 14th. I'll tell you the title. And name
Very
is
good date.
Chaitra. And yeah. And I mean, in fact, on 13th is my anniversary, so I'm very happy to have this
Nice.
launch on 14th. Yeah, so Chaitra says, great question. I Chaitra is herself such a deep writer. My God, मुझे लगता है कि Chaitra, she will amalgamate so many things. एक कहीं पे deep ancient thing आएगा, उसके बीच में love आएगा, बीच में काफी sci-fi वाली चीज आ जाएगी, and then she amalgamates everything and she puts it in a write-up. So very intelligent writing for her. So thank you guys for watching. And okay, उसके बाद में she and Kavita are talking to herself, so let them talk. And before I wind up, Namrata, I have a last question for you because we are doing this session ahead of Women's Day. It's a few days away. So, there's so much of thing going on in and around feminism. So before we wind up, what is your opinion about, how do you define feminism in your own words?
So for me, feminism is the equality of both the sexes, male and female. In fact, every
Yeah.
gender. So the gender is not in binaries now. So as you all know, the
Mm-hmm.
gender is not like male and female. There are a lot of other genders. So for me, feminism, I think initially started when women were considered as subordinate to men and they were not
Mm-hmm.
allowed to make decisions. They were not allowed to go to the public. They were not allowed to get educated or work outside the
Mm-hmm.
house. So they were constricted,
Yeah.
restricted to the house itself and in the household duties. So then the feminist
Mm.
movement started when women started talking
Okay.
about their rights and how they should have the freedom to do whatever they want in their life. So for me,
Mm.
feminism is exactly that. So uh,
Okay.
it's about the
Okay.
equality of everyone to get educated, do the work that they want to do, and have the citizen rights and all the other rights that we have as humans. So we walk on the same planet, we breathe the same air, we walk under the same sky. So we all need to
Right.
have the same rights, and no other gender or no sex should be superior to somebody else in that sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's all about equality for me.
Okay. That's wonderful. Wonderfully presented, actually. In probably very simple and very nice words, just the way your book is. And you have a book near you. I'm just a copy.
Right now, I do not have it.
Namrata, okay, you do not have it. No problem, no problem. But I'm holding it. So, guys, if you're looking for a light-hearted read, Together We Were Whole, and a love story as well, not a typical love story, but it has a story, it has a good plot. Please do read it, and it has got some nice twist also, which of course I'm not going to reveal it. मैं बहुत अच्छी moderator हूँ, मैं कुछ नहीं बताती book के बारे में, सब आपको ही पढ़ना पड़ेगा. So do purchase it and do give it a read. Oh, we have a question. Chaitra is asking, would you consider yourself a feminist? What would be your ideal world? Very nice.
So, yes, I do consider myself a feminist in the sense that I want equal rights and equal opportunities for both the sexes, male and female, if we are talking about the traditional sexes that was
Hmm.
in binaries.
Hmm.
So, I would
Hmm.
want equal rights to education, equal citizen rights, equal general rights. I should, as a girl, I should be allowed to educate myself, work for myself, showcase myself in public, have dreams, and go after those dreams. So, in that sense, I should be able to put myself out there and I should be able to do what I want to do, like that traditionally, like the men did. So, in that sense, as far as equality is concerned, yes, I would consider myself a feminist, and I really do not like it when there's a guy dominating a girl and the girl is not allowed to do anything and is considered to be subordinate to the guy, especially in abusive relationships, to talk about that. So
Yeah,
I
that's true.
I am a strict believer in that concept of equality. And my ideal world would be the world where there is fairness, there is equality,
Yeah.
justice, and equal give and take in relationships. So there should always be a balance in my ideal world.
And Kavita has also commented, she has seen more women pulling back, another woman more than men do. Yes, that is also
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
So that has to be a right kind of feminism. There's nothing wrong with that feminism. There's a phenomenon rather, and I think that is the beauty of the story, which is a plus. Namrata, when I was reading it, I don't like to read women being weak. That is okay. A phase can come when they are a bit low, but then how Sanaya kind of gather her broken pieces and bounces back as a successful entrepreneur. For that I'll give you a thumbs up and everything. That it had me, and okay, so thanks for giving such a wonderful read and sending to me with a lovely note. And I hope to have more of your books, hand signed, to send it to me anytime, any day. And PME is always open, whenever you want to come and talk, and I'm always just a call away. You have my number too. So, with this lovely note, thanks guys for watching, giving your time on a weekend. And Tahe dil se shukriya Namrata ka, and for coming and making my 147th session successful today.
May you reach, may you reach 1 lakh soon. And I think
Oh
you
my
will.
goodness. Okay. So do watch my 150th, guys. I'll be releasing a teaser soon, and guest is confirmed. And I can't reveal anything much about it, but yes, stay tuned. So thank you, Namrata, for being on the show, for gracing the occasion. And I hope to see you soon again and again and again with more number of books.
Thank you, Kavita. It was a lovely session with you.
Yeah, bye.
Do we have any
See you.
questions?
Oh, no, I think people have
Any
joined
questions
now,
that I missed?
but there was
Namrata, the
one comment
secret
which has
of
really
your
crazed.
gorgeous hair.
Uh,
Onion shampoo these days.
okay, so there was one tarif about your book. It's a very good book. I just forgot to take it because, as I said, these days the font is becoming very lighter when it goes up, in the scroll thing. And so I don't think so we have missed any question over there. So thank you guys for watching and joining. And I hope, Namrata, you enjoyed talking and being on the show as much as I did while conversing with you.
Yes, I had a lot of fun with you.
Okay. So take care. Bye bye. See you. So see you guys.
Take
Jai
care.
Hind. This is Kaveri signing off. Bye bye.